Snipers, you have to see what's happening to the Bitcoin price today as we are seeing continued strength above 45,000 US dollars and Bitcoin is potentially on the way to 60,000 US dollars. I want to talk about what's happening outside of Bitcoin like Ethereum also testing a major resistance at the 200-day moving average. It's also a volume resistance at 34.54, a sniper's resistance more importantly. And so this tells us that it's time to look at the revolving parts before we see a reaction here. We want to be ahead of the curve. As I always make sure each and every one of you are here on the Snipers channel. Let's look at what's happening in reaction to Bitcoin's volatility. First thing is the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart is testing a major resistance right now, and we're seeing continued strength. If we break out from this major resistance, that's a huge confirmation that altcoin season is going to continue for the altcoins outside of Ethereum, and that the total market cap and Bitcoin are going to continue further up because there's confidence in the cryptocurrency market. So if we see a breakout right now above 74,000 Satoshis, it is very important to monitor, but so far it looks like that's what it wants to do with Ethereum testing 34.54. On the micro timeframes, we saw no sellers in sight. And so based on the volume of the micro timeframes, it looks like Ethereum's ready to continue further up and see more strength. And then check this out. Not only is that in our favor, the total market cap also approaching this major resistance at 2.259 trillion. If we break above this, get ready for some momentum in the cryptocurrency market. And now we have this strong support at 1.78 trillion for the total market cap. As long as we stay above that, things are looking very strong. Very similar to the support level for Bitcoin at 42,000, by the way. We have the monthly open, the previous weekly open, and the major volume support at 42,000. So regardless of what happens, as long as we stay above 42,000, I'll tell you, things are looking very good for Bitcoin. So for those that did take long positions below 40,000, now you're safe in that position as long as we stay above 42,000. If we start to approach 42,000, we'll address that. But it looks like Bitcoin's ready to make the break to 50,000 and at least start to test price action inside of this range here with a resistance of 58,353. I expect that to be the ultimate destination, and it certainly hasn't looked like Bitcoin has found its destination, at least for the immediate short term and midterm. And I say that because you can see we still have this extremely bullish uptrend intact. And so as long as we stay above the weekly open for the day traders and the short time frames, then I think that we're still seeing strong momentum. And the weekly opens at 46,900. As long as we stay above that, then the short-term momentum looks very good for Bitcoin. So everything looks good. The DXY also rejecting a major level today. At one point, it was down 1%. So it's telling us this is significant. And we're getting a confirmation that the DXY could have potentially topped out with the Euro USD pairing. Also seeing a nice bullish engulfing candle today, indicating it does want to continue further up, and this is inversely correlated with the DXY. So exactly what we want to see there. And then I'll mention this: gold and US oil have calmed down. Gold below its previous weekly open, and oil also below its weekly open. So that to us is a very strong confirmation. And then the last thing that we'll monitor is the gold to Bitcoin chart just gave us an early confirmation of where Bitcoin dominance may be headed, as it's shown correlations to Bitcoin dominance. And we just got below all daily moving averages, but Bitcoin dominance has yet to do that. So it looks like if we're right, we're going to be seeing Bitcoin dominance also break below all of its daily moving averages, confirming that Ethereum to Bitcoin chart can continue further up and that we will continue to see strength for the altcoins outside of Ethereum. And then I'll wrap up with this. The VIX, a very good indication of the volatility of the S&P 500, just broke a major support, telling us that we potentially are starting to see traditional markets calm down. And you can see we wicked below this important support. I wouldn't say we've closed below it, but it certainly has given us a good indication in the past that we knew that when we approached this major area here where there was resistance in the past, that things were going to calm down. That's where things bottomed out. The volatility stopped, and we started to see momentum to the upside. So VIX looking very good. No puzzle pieces giving us bearish signs. Of course, that could sometimes be a concern. I would say that with the momentum that Bitcoin has seen so far above 45,000, since we've tested it 4 times as a resistance, I wouldn't ever be surprised to see Bitcoin come back down to test 44,800, 45,000 really. If we do see that test, I think it's on the table. Could come sooner than later, before the 200-day moving average breaks, which we already tested it, or maybe we see a little bit further price action on the upside, and then eventually we come down to that $44,800 level. But if we tested it so many times as a resistance, I would say garden variety market behavior says at some point we test it as a support. So when is that going to come? Who knows? It really isn't too big of a deal, because with where current price action is right now, we're less than 5% away from 49,700, and we're pretty much about 5% away from 45,000. So it's pretty much there on the table. If we just see a 5% day to the upside or downside for Bitcoin, we either test the previous resistance as support, or we test the major resistance to then maybe start to slow down. But I'm still very confident in this rally. We haven't seen momentum slow down. It's not the time to be shorting. And until we see the short-term time frames slowing down in momentum, we have to continue to stay bullish here, because Bitcoin is in a transitionary phase, and that's very clear. But just keep in mind the weekly open for the short time frame traders at 46,900 is the major support to indicate the continued momentum is still there, and that we'll continue to see strong price action to the upside. So far, I wouldn't say many bearish puzzle pieces. We haven't yet seen volume to the sell side, which means it's going to come, right? So prepare for your red days on your green days, and then on your red days, prepare for your green days. And so I think that wraps up everything for today. Thank you all for tuning into the Snipers channel. Smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm if you support this content. And this was a little bit different, not on the phone, on the computer, but there were so many revolving parts starting to move that we had to get an indication of where sentiment is heading, as it's most likely going to continue this way. And so thank you all for tuning in today, and I'll see you next time. Snipers out.